Welcome to Just Between Us, the podcast with all of the answers, some of the time.
We're your hosts. I'm Diana Vickers.
And I'm Alice Giddings.
Every week we take your calls, hear your stories and answer your burning questions.
And of course we'll be sharing our own experiences because let's be real, we've all made some very questionable decisions along the way.
And that's
Just Between Us.
Right, okay, who we got calling in today?
Her name is Cassidy. And yeah, she just wants some reassurance. So let's get her on the line.
Well, here we are. Get her on.
Hello, is this Cassidy?
Can you hear me okay?
Hey!
Yes, there you are.
Okay. Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
love. This is Diana.
And this is Alice.
Hi, nice to meet you both.
Oh, where are you calling from today, Cassidy?
I'm in the Midlands.
Oh, lovely.
And how old are you?
I'm 26.
Oh, God, what a
Lovely.
time to be alive.
Same as me.
26. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, yeah, I'm so old. So go on. Do you want to tell us what's going on with you today, Cassidy?
I will. So, I've been with my current partner for over a year and a half. I think about 20 months, if we're gonna speak like it's a child. And she's my first girlfriend, and my coming out is really tied to us being together. So before we got together, I identified as straight, and then around 2-ish years ago, I came out as bi. And as I said, it's still quite a young relationship in the grand scheme of things, but because it's a very happy, healthy relationship, I'm often thinking about our future and what that looks like for us, for me. We currently live separately with our families, so that future to me is things like a house together, and then eventually further down the line, marriage and a family. Even though we're not kind of currently in a situation where we're looking to have children, it's something I definitely want for us in the future. And what I've now fallen into is this realization that this future family I've always imagined might not be as easy or as straightforward, maybe, as I kind of once thought. So once upon a time, I had only ever imagined my future with a man. So it would have been the traditional male-female relationship and that path to having a child. Now I'm with a woman and it's a different reality. But that said, it's a reality I'm really, really excited about, and I can't wait. Well, I can wait because I'm not there yet, but I can't wait because building a family with the person I love is, of course, something I'm really looking forward to. I think my partner would be a brilliant mom, and I think we'd be great parents together. But there are also now new factors to consider. So for me, it's particularly time, because it takes longer to go on a fertility journey and have a baby using IUI or IVF versus natural conception, and also money, because these procedures cost a lot more than conceiving naturally too. And this also, of course, isn't considering adoption or other fertility methods. And I think it's important to say that obviously every queer person has a different experience, and every queer woman has a different idea of what their family will look like, children or no children. But yeah, this is kind of what I picture for myself. And I suppose I want to put some emphasis on this changing reality because it's an experience I think others will probably be able to relate to. So yeah, I guess for you guys, for me and any other queer women out there who might be looking to a future where building a family looks a bit different than we once imagined, how can we kind of feel a bit more confident and feel really reassured going into the future that we'll be able to get what we want and what we deserve?
Oh, yeah. No, I love that. And I completely get where you're coming from. It would be great to hear, firstly, though, about your coming out story. How did you get to that realization? Because it's such an amazing thing that you feel able to share this with us. And we're so grateful for that. So it would be really wonderful to learn a little bit more about your journey and into your sexuality.
Absolutely.
Like I said, so it really is tied into my current partner, my current girlfriend, because we met at work, and so we'd actually been really good friends for a few years, and then I took a sabbatical and I went traveling, and then I came back to work, and I couldn't even tell you what it was that had changed. Like, I really don't know. I can't pinpoint it like a moment, or I don't know what it was, but suddenly it kind of felt a bit different. Like, I got back and I suddenly was like, oh my God, I actually missed you so much. And we'd always spent quite a lot of time together, but I think, yeah, maybe that just kind of continuation. And then for me, I mean, it's something that I don't even feel like, when I was younger, there was moments where I kind of saw someone like a woman on TV and thought, oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. Like I did, but I never thought that I never, I suppose, thought about women in the same way I would have felt about men in terms of like celebrities on TV or anything. Um, and then, yeah, it really was with my current partner that I think maybe I felt really comfortable and it just made sense to me. And there was nothing that felt any weird or wrong about it. It just felt so right. And I think maybe her confidence in her sexuality made it a bit easier for me to kind of find that confidence for myself. And I'm also really lucky to have a really accepting family, and I have gay friends, and I knew that kind of coming out to them, it would be a safe way to do so, and I knew they'd accept me. And yeah, I'm really lucky in that sense, because I have this kind of community around me that really do love and support me no matter what. And then, yeah, with my girlfriend also being that way, it just felt like a really easy transition.
That's so good to hear. I was just going to ask about how it was coming out to your family and friends, because obviously it's such a huge thing, especially maybe something that's quite new and that you're exploring, and it's the only sort of, queer connection that you've ever had, and you're learning it about yourself. So that I'm just, yeah, I'm so pleased that your parents and all your friends were. How did you go about that? I would love to actually hear more about that conversation.
Yeah, so the first person I came out to was my best friend, who's also gay. She's also a gay woman. And it was really funny because we'd gone for drinks after work. So me, my best friend, and my current partner. And afterwards, my friend drove me home and she kind of said, did you, I don't know what it was. Like, I just felt a connection. And I was like, I literally just think I blurted out like, oh my God, I really like her, or something. I was like, oh my God, I feel it too, something like that. And then she was like, oh my God, no way. And it was just this really fun moment to kind of be like, kind of rehash every little moment as you do, of like, oh, this is when I first noticed this, or this is when I first thought this, or she texted me this and it was really fun, or I don't know. And then I think it wasn't long after that I came out to my mum first. And I think we'd been spending a lot of time together, and she kind of said to me, oh, do you think, my current partner, do you think she might like you a little bit? And I was like, oh, I like her too. And then she went, oh, okay. And then we just spoke a little bit about it. But I think actually my stepdad had actually said to my mom before, like, do you think there's something going on? And I think they'd actually almost had a conversation that they were kind of like, well, this is great. Like, if this is what it is, if it's what we think it is, then, they're really happy for me. And eventually when I did say it to them, it's just felt so natural. And all my siblings obviously know and love my partner, and we spend a lot of time together as family, and she knows all my friends. And yeah, it's really lovely.
I love that. That's so
So
amazing that you've
nice.
had such a positive
Yeah.
experience.
Mhm.
We love to hear it. And so it obviously sounds like your relationship with your partner is really wonderful and so, understanding and exciting and new. And I think it's so natural to have all these questions and, wants and desires with this, possible love of your life. So have you communicated openly to her your concerns around perhaps the issues you might face trying to start a family together, whether that's something you both want? Like, tell me what that conversation has been like.
hmm we have spoken about it quite a lot, and I think a lot of the time we do kind of do the throwaway, like, oh, well, our kids will definitely wear this, or they definitely won't wear this, those kind of things. And that's really fun. And then we've also had more kind of serious conversations, I suppose, about it and the avenues we might want to explore. And I think it's really hard, obviously, as I said, we're not really there just yet, but then so obviously our ideas of the future, and the path we want to go down might change, but at the moment I think we've kind of really been looking into IUI and IVF, as I mentioned, and kind of looking at the funding as well and how that all works, which is really overwhelming, and I'm not at all really well informed about that. um and then I mean, a conversation that sticks out is when we were sat in the McDonald's car park and I suddenly realized, like, oh, we could actually both carry. And I was like, oh, that's really strange, because, like I said, I'd always imagined me in this relationship where I'd be with a man. So I was the only person that could carry the child. And then it was like, at that moment, I realized, I think actually maybe that's an important part of motherhood to me. And then it was a conversation of, okay, well, does that matter to you? Is this something you also want? Are you kind of willing to let me do that if that's what I want? Or do I need to be open to the idea of you doing it? Um, and yeah, it still is. We, I suppose, are still in the middle of this big conversation. But yeah, I do think we're quite open to talking about it. And obviously, as time goes on, there are just more things that come about, and the more information we get, then I suppose the more questions you have from that too. So,
Totally. I totally get it. You know what I was just thinking when you were speaking, because even as a woman, even if you're in a straight relationship, sometimes with getting pregnant and your future and fertility, you never really know what it looks like. I always get absolutely terrified about that, or you never really know. So when you're speaking now, I was thinking, even though obviously you're in this situation, you could even be with a straight partner, and then you might not be able to conceive. One of you might, and so there's all the straight couples still exploring the same as you. I know it's very, very different, but I think that you never really know what it can look like. So, I was thinking, oh my gosh, maybe I would want a baby in a couple of years' time, but I don't have a partner, and so how does that look for me? So I think
mhm.
it also can be the same if you're in a straight couple as well, just as reassurance.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Mhm.
two things come to mind for you, in my mind, for you, Cassidy. And that is, I don't know if you've spoken about shared motherhood or reciprocal IVF. And that's essentially where one of you would donate the egg to be implanted in the other when it's
Oh,
fertilized. So you could both have a biological connection to that child. Because I think a lot of people, when they look at lesbian relationships, assume that, one woman conceives the baby, carries the baby, it's all hers, and the other partner is just, is as much a parent as they are, but doesn't have that biological connection. So
Mhm.
reciprocal IVF can be really, really interesting to explore. And another thing, I know you mentioned you were concerned about the financial aspect of it. There is something that I shout from the rooftops to anyone who will listen, and it's this company called Access Fertility. Now,
Okay.
what they will do is they will essentially give you a 100% refund if
oh,
your IVF is unsuccessful. So,
Oh.
as long as you're under the age of 38 and don't have any glaring medical issues, they will give you all your money back if you don't have a baby at the end of it, because 63% of women have to self fund their IVF journey. And that's on average around £13,000. And they don't always get a baby.
yeah, this is a revelation.
But if you look, I would really advise looking into Access Fertility because I've spoken to women who've got refunds from them.
Wow.
And
Because it is, yeah, it can be it's really a lot of stress on your body. And again, you don't really know the outcome.
yeah,
So that's amazing. That's incredible. What's it called again?
Access Fertility.
Access Fertility. Wow.
So definitely look into that because that could ease a lot of worries, I think. Because obviously on the NHS, it depends where you live, but usually you have to have had 6 cycles of failed IUI before you qualify for, or in some places, 12 failed cycles of IUI, or 2 years without success before you're eligible for NHS support. So do look into that because would that be something that you feel like could help?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had no idea about this at all. So I would definitely get to Googling later and have a look.
And in terms of the emotional side of things, of when you were talking about the sharing of the egg, I don't know the science behind it, but that's always really, really lovely as well. Because obviously, when you have your partner, a part of having a baby as well is that you want to make this tiny little human together because you love each other and you want to have that. So it's like actually a really beautiful thing that you can also do that together,
Yeah.
which I really, really love. Is that quite comforting as well, Cassidy?
Yeah, that one I had heard a little bit about. I think immediately though it just jumps like financially. I think from and this is I'm talking TikToks and things I've seen about it, but that's like a very surface level kind of investigation by me. But it just seemed to be that a lot of people face again the financial kind of risk of that, or not risk, but it is quite expensive. But
Yeah.
I've got to dream big, I suppose.
Yeah, and I do think it's such a shame that fertility treatment can be so expensive. And obviously surrogacy is something that you could look into, but that's like £50,000
Wow.
possibly. And who realistically in this day and age can afford that? I don't know.
It's wild.
So that's hard. Adoption is, of course, something you can look into, but I deeply understand the desire you've expressed to want to carry your child and have that experience. So that might not be the option for you guys, but I think I think it's also key to know that there are, I think, 217,000 same-sex couples who have kids at the minute who are in schools. So it is something that people are doing. It is something that's possible. And I think it's about communicating with your partner a timeline, because your timelines could look very different. So ironing out when you would start thinking about that process, because like you said, it can be a very long process if it doesn't go to plan. And really kind of make sure that you're both on the same page. And then you can kind of weather that storm together of, yes, it costs this much. These are our options. And I think that will really bring a lot of comfort. Does that sound helpful?
Definitely, yeah. I think it's just good to talk it out, and you've given me things I need to go and now research, and also to just almost have someone say like, you'll get what you want. It's it can
Absolutely.
work out. Then it's great. It's been great to speak to you both.
Yeah, I think sometimes in life as well, just because it doesn't look like exactly like you thought it would be, this is your journey and there is options out there. And at the end of the day, you've met your partner who you love so much, and the fact that you're talking about having this future together, it's so exciting. And we're in 2025 now. There's so many unconventional families all the time. It's really exciting. And I love that the world looks like that now. And
Yeah.
I'm just really excited for you.
And also, why can't same-sex couples be the norm?
Absolutely.
Like, it's such a great thing that you're so open to talking about it, because I think you're really going to pave the way for a lot of other people who are having the exact same concerns. And most people aren't, able to come on a platform as big as this and share that. So we're so grateful that you've been so brave and have had such a wonderful discovery and relationship, because it sounds really, really amazing.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, we'll
Thank
keep in
you.
touch, or and let us know how you get on. And we're here. Yeah, keep in touch. We wanted to hear about your journey. Thank you so much for sharing, Cassidy.
I will do. Thank you both so much.
Thanks,
Thank
love.
you. Bye
Bye,
now.
bye.
Bye.
I loved hearing from Cassidy. I really think that she just wanted some reassurance. I feel like in life, when your journey isn't what you quite thought it would be, it can be quite overwhelming. Even if you are super, super happy, you're madly in love, when something it feels like that she feels she might be climbing a bit of a mountain with it, which I totally understand.
Oh, yeah, I can seriously relate to that.
But again, like I was saying, I know straight couples that have difficulty getting pregnant, and they have difficulty with their journey, and it throws a spanner in, and you're like, what the hell is going on? I wasn't expecting this at all. But then I've known loads of them to go on to have these beautiful, gorgeous babies, and they're super, super happy.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's hard, because I feel like, I got diagnosed with endometriosis,
Yes.
and obviously,
Not yes, like yay, but I know
yay.
this. I know.
Well, no, a yay, because it took 2 years and
Right.
it shouldn't have taken 2 years.
Yeah.
But that feeling of not knowing now, it is so hard. It's so hard. And I know that obviously 1 in 10 women feel exactly the same way.
Yeah.
So I completely relate to you have this perfect idea of what you want and what you'll have one day. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, that might not look like that for
Yeah.
me. I hope it does, but I don't know. So
I don't know what's wrong with me. I've talked about my sort of lady problems. I go through these periods of, it's every year or so, and it's 4 months of just excruciating bloating, pain, stabbing, crying, can't function. And so I go through that a lot, and I don't really know what's wrong. So I think that my next step will be to have an operation.
are you going to get a laparoscopy?
Yes, I am. Yeah. And I think that as a woman, I'm getting older now. Well, I'm not older. I'm 34 this time,
Yeah,
but
that's not old.
It's not old, but I don't have a partner, and I'm very career driven, and I do want babies. I think I definitely do. I think I definitely do. That sentence doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I worry about these things. Sometimes I go, what is going on in there? And like, is it going to be easy or is it going to be hard for me?
Yeah.
But obviously with her, it's a very obvious different journey. With Cassidy, because she has to. You never know. I know a friend of mine has endometriosis and she's got pregnant really easily, even though she's gone through excruciating pain with it. Bless her. She suffers really badly, but she's managed to have a really healthy, gorgeous baby and be pregnant again.
Yeah. Some women, literally, it does not affect them. They are fine. But I think it's 1 in 7 couples in the UK struggle with conceiving, and that's for all sorts of reasons. So it's that constant looming fear of, am I part of that statistic? And you don't know until you try, unless you obviously get like fertility, MOT fertilities and stuff like that. But I don't know if I want to know.
I know.
Too far in advance.
I don't know if I want to know that either, because then because sometimes they say that you can maybe just get pregnant. There might be issues. And then I was reading a book recently, a psychic that I go to. I'm obsessed with psychics, Diane Lazarus. And in her her book, she was talking about how she got told that she had to get her womb taken out because she had really bad endometriosis. And she knew that she was pregnant. And the doctor was like, no, you're not. You need to get your womb taken out. Obviously, she's psychic, she knew. And then she ended up having a really healthy, beautiful baby boy. So I do believe in miracles. Were you the girl that planned her wedding when she was little and wanted the house and the kids?
Yes. Yeah, I was. I think it's morphed into something very different over the years. But when I was little, I thought I was going to be married by 25 and have babies and do all this stuff. And then obviously you reach 25 and you're just like, this is not what I want at all right now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I know exactly what my wedding will look like in my head if my boyfriend agrees.
He's got no choice. He's got no opinion.
I said, would you want to be part of the wedding planning? And he said, yes, we're going to fight over napkin colours. And I was like, oh, that's actually quite sweet.
I like that.
You care.
What does your wedding look like then? What does it look like?
Very classic, quite French, very chic and sort of timeless. I don't want anything too over the top. A lot of flowers though. I would like a lot of baby's breath and white roses. That's my plan. And then and then hopefully kids a few years after. I don't want to rush it too much.
What age? So you're 26 now.
Yeah.
What age do you imagine yourself getting married and then popping out the babies?
I don't know. Maybe 29 and 30. I reckon that's my timeline.
So very young.
Yeah, I know, but I get scared. I get scared.
29 or 30. I couldn't. Yeah, that was not on my radar then.
Well, what does it look like for you?
It's so funny because, when I was younger, you watch your Disney films and I was always mad on love. I always just loved love. But then I think when I was in a long-term relationship, I was thinking, oh God, I don't know whether this is, he started speaking about babies or being quite, just settling down energy. I was like, I just want to do my career. And then I met my boyfriend of 2 years and I was like, okay, he's the one. I want to marry him. And it didn't work out. And then my mum, and I was just like, well, I thought it was going to work out with him. And my mum was like, Diana, no, you're going to go through loads of menu. And you know what? Yeah, I have. And I honestly think I was destined. And even now, in my gut, I would love my next person that I meet to be my person. And I'm ready to fall madly in love. But I'm thinking, maybe he won't be. Maybe, again, I've got another guy before the other guy. I don't know. I definitely do want to get married.
Mm-hmm.
I want to meet my person. I want a really good, solid human to have a really good time with. And I really want to meet someone that's a really good dad. Because I do see myself having kids, but not until I'm like 38, 40.
Do you know what? I think also for me, I want who I marry to be the father of my kids. But I think for my mum, she got married for the first time at 51, 52.
Wow.
And it's the love of her life.
See, love that.
And, my dad left when I was 6 months old, a year old. So she did the whole parenting thing by herself and she smashed it.
What a woman.
So yeah,
What a
I want to
woman.
be the mother that my mum was to me. And I think as much as we paint these gorgeous nuclear pictures in our head, I think it can still be a really beautiful journey, even if it doesn't pan out as we think or hope.
I just want to have kids with a really good guy, because what do they say? Always have kids or marry someone that would be good divorcing. Do you know what I mean? Because a divorce is a nightmare.
Oh,
and
God.
you just want to make sure that you've just got a really good, solid guy that's going to be a good dad. And even if it means it doesn't work out with him, but he can be a good dad, good genes, good quality human being. But then, I don't actually end up with him and I end up with someone else when I'm 60 or whatever, having a good time, then that's fine. As long as I've got a good human for those tiny little babies, I'm all right.
Couldn't agree more. So, sexuality. Have you always known that you were straight? Have you always felt straight? Is it fluid for you? Give me the tea.
I think I'm pretty straight. I totally get it. And for me as well, never really say never. I've definitely had little crushes on people being like, oh my God, she's a babe and she's hot and she's sexy and on a night out. I definitely get that. I definitely get how you could fall in love with the person. And I see it happen a lot in a lot of my female friendships. They experiment and they've fallen in love with someone of the same sex, and I totally see how that can happen. So definite, never a relationship or anything like that, but definitely she's a bit of a babe, and I can get why that would happen.
Would you say you're maybe heteroflexible?
What does that mean?
So I've been getting an increase of sex diaries that people write for Metro, where essentially they label themselves as heteroflexible, and this is where they class themselves as predominantly straight, just like you and I, but then they have moments where they're finding themselves attracted to a member of the same sex.
I get that, and just because you didn't act on it doesn't mean it's not there. For example, G-flip?
Yes.
G-flip, sexy. I was like, what a babe. I was like, okay, have a little crush on G-flip now, So definitely I can appreciate that. Or Penelope Cruz in, what's that movie, Vicky Cristina Barcelona, with Javier Bardem and Scarlett Johansson and Penelope Cruz, and they become this throuple over the summer. And I was like, you know what? I could do a bit of that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying that I've been there, but I definitely think I would love to. It's definitely something that I find sexy.
Yeah,
if that makes sense, and I'm curious about. So, what about you?
I've always been straight as a pole, I think. It's hard because you do kind of I think for me, where maybe a slight bit of confusion arose, I've always known I was straight, but there's a fascination around straight women watching lesbian porn.
Yes.
And it's statistically proven that the number one search term that women search for in porn is lesbian. And I think that's just because it centers female pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not because you're
I don't want to see a
lesbian
random
or
penis.
bisexual. Yeah. It's just because it focuses on female pleasure. And I think a lot of people misconstrue that as, oh, I'm lesbian, I'm bisexual if I find this attractive. But actually, I think that it's just really great to see that representation for women. So I would say I'm straight as a pole, and that was the only thing that really made my mind tick. But
yeah, no, that is interesting. I'm that as well. I don't, like I said, I don't want to see just some sort of random aggressive man and some aggressive penis in a porno. It's too much.
It's way too
Back
much.
off. Although there are this couple called Leo Lulu. Have you seen them?
No.
They're really in love. and they've got their own thing going on.
Is it
And
like very
then
sensual?
very sexy, and they're always abroad doing stuff, and
Ooh.
he's like taking her up against some sort of waterfall and on the sea, and that's quite nice. But I think that would be the only, and if not, I don't want to see it. But yeah, I get how that could be confusing. Listen, I'm men. I am men. Like, I love sex with, I love sex with a man.
Yeah.
I have a
A
really
good,
good time.
handsome
I
man.
see myself with a man, absolutely. But I can totally understand. Like, like I said, G Flip. I was like, well confused. I was like, I really like G Flip. She's well sexy. And then when you see these, that sexy situation in Cristina Barcelona, I'm like, why don't I just go away for a summer and being a throuple? So yeah, I definitely have like fantasized about these things for sure.
And I think, sexuality is obviously a much bigger conversation now than it used to be. And we're seeing more and more young people come out, which is amazing. 10% of 16 to 24-year-olds, I think, identify as gay, bi, or lesbian. So that's a very big increase, basically. And the amount of straight people in the UK is going down.
Wow.
I think it dropped from like 95% in 2017 to 93% in 2022. So it's slow, but it is happening. And I think that's because we have so many platforms now where people can see themselves and see that someone else has come out and that it's really liberated them. And I think that's really great to see.
Also, back in the day, can we just talk about how like gladiator times and stuff? Wasn't everyone just going for it with everyone? Men, women, weren't we just actually really just getting with everything? Then all of a sudden we got real straight, and then now maybe we're going back there again.
No, you know what? So I did classics at university and we did a whole module on ancient Greece.
Yeah.
And their primary love interests, like men's primary love interests, were with other men.
Yeah.
They would have whole gymnasiums where older men would take a younger lover, and they were gay and happy and in love, and it just got erased from history. And it blows my mind because we went from one extreme to it not even being a question. Like, that's just what happened. It was natural.
Absolutely.
And then we swung the other way as society, and it got so
ordered.
Homophobic.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say because obviously there's so much happening in the US and here as well that is making it hard again for the LGBTQ plus community to feel accepted, feel safe, and feel heard, which is so heartbreaking to watch. But I do feel at the same time that we have a lot of really great representatives and spokespeople and mastheads of the community that are coming forward and really championing LGBTQ plus rights. And I'm going to Brighton Pride soon.
Yay!
Yeah. So I just think it's so important that we keep supporting that, because
absolutely
sexuality is also, it's fluid. And you might think, like, there's a study that shows that we get our first kind of questions around 13 if we're starting to question our sexuality, and we don't know until usually around 17 if those feelings are kind of really concrete for us. And another study showed that our sexuality keeps developing into our 20s.
Yeah.
So
Do you
it's
think
so
a lot
fluid
as well with being a woman and dating a man is really hard, dating and finding that person? I've had so many friends just go, you know what, I am actually sick to the back teeth of men at the moment, and they've been like, I'm gonna try women now, and they're getting on really great with them.
I actually just found this out, and I'm not going to use names, so hopefully she doesn't mind, but a close family friend, we always thought she was straight. She always thought she was straight, and she's in her early 30s. She went to a friend's wedding, and fell in love with a bridesmaid.
I love this.
And they're now blissfully happy, and they've moved in together, and she could not be happier. And I think it's important that we don't obviously, push lesbianism as a substitute, because men can sometimes be rubbish.
Absolutely.
But I just think it's really beautiful. And I think that women know what women want.
Apparently lesbian sex is the best sex ever. They could go for hours, I've heard.
So I loved hearing from Cassidy. I thought that was so amazing that she rang in to share her story. And I love that we can spotlight LGBTQ plus voices, because I think it's so important, because so many people will identify with her. And I just think she's fabulous.
Absolutely. Babe, I'd be nowhere without me LGBTQIA plus community. They are the best. I love you. And Cassidy, please just keep in touch. Let us know how you're getting on, about your journey. Thank you so much for sharing. And we can't wait to hear from you soon. All right. I think it's time for the hot take of the week.
I don't really have to think about that one. Do you need some time?
Yeah, I think we love the little bit girl on girl.
Yeah, I think we're both the same. Purely because it's about women, not about men.
Yeah. I definitely have a few archived stories of ex-lovers up there, but...
Oh, I like that though. But that's your personal experience, which is obviously really hot.
Yeah, I like that. Like a little one for the
little library. I like it.
Absolutely. But yeah, no, but it's the girlies and the girlies.
Yeah, the women are coming in clutch.
That's it for this week's episode of Just Between Us, the podcast with all the answers, some of the time.
So if you've got a story, an issue or a burning question, then email justbetweenus@metro.co.uk or join our WhatsApp group. The link is in the bio.
And follow us on Instagram and TikTok at JBUPod for all the backstage gossip and little videos. Until next time, keep it messy, keep it honest,
and that's Just Between Us. And of course, don't forget to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode.